Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss about types of organic reactions and their reaction mechanisms. So we know that in organic chemistry we have different type of chemical reactions possible, and they all reflect particular characteristic of different functional groups. So the basic organic chemistry reaction types, they are addition, elimination, substitution. Then we can have pericyclic reaction, rearrangement reaction, and redox reactions. Now, what is the reaction mechanism? So, reaction mechanism is step-by-step sequence of elementary reactions by which overall chemical change occurs. So you are representing a chemical reaction in different possible steps. What are the different intermediates which were formed during the course of the reaction before formation of the product? And then you determine the energetics of these intermediates and find out the rate of the reaction and its molecularity and then order of the reaction. That is all part of your reaction mechanism. So, organic reaction mechanisms, they are generally governed by the rules of electron transfer. And what is that rule? So, one compound is containing electrons, and other compound do not contain electrons. So, they come together to find out the electron, and they share those electrons together to form the covalent bond. This is the simple rule of organic reactions. Uh, uh, all type of organic reactions, they all follow the simple rule. So here the reaction mechanism, they can be of two types. We can have free radical mechanism and ionic mechanism. Now, apart from these two type of mechanism, a third category also exists, that is pericyclic reactions. So in the pericyclic reactions, they are governed by the symmetry of frontier molecular orbitals. So that is a different category of organic reaction mechanisms. But in general, if you see, we can have a free radical mechanism and ionic mechanism. Now, this free radical mechanism, they are followed, they are governed by the rules of a single electron transfer. Only one electron species, which you call a free radical, they are actually involved into the reaction mechanism. Second is ionic mechanism, rules of electron pair transfers. So here in the ionic mechanisms, formation of ions takes place. So generally in the organic reactions, we have carbon moieties involved. So these ions, they can be formed by the carbon itself. So when your carbon is containing a positive charge, you call it a carbocation. And when carbon is containing a negative charge or an electron pair, you call it carb anion. So generally the ionic mechanisms, they are actually governed by the presence of carbocation and carbon ion. These ionic mechanisms, they are actually the Lewis acid-base reactions. The Lewis acid-base reactions are what? When you have a Lewis acid and a Lewis base involved. What is the Lewis acid? Lewis acid is electron pair acceptor and your Lewis base is electron pair donor. So this is their role in the reaction itself actually. What is the Lewis acid? Which does not contain electron, which is electron deficient species. You call it a Lewis acid. So it becomes the electron pair acceptor in your reaction. And what is a Lewis base? It is an electron rich species, and in the reaction it becomes the donor of the electron pair. So such type of compounds, when they come together, when they react together, they exchange the electron pairs. So a Lewis acid which is deficient in the electron, it becomes the electron pair acceptor, and a Lewis base which is containing a rich electron density, it becomes a donor. So the base donates the electron, the acid accepts them, and there is formation of a covalent bond. Now, such reactions can be again of two types. So we can have proton transfer reactions and the other Lewis acid-base reactions. So in the proton transfer reactions, you have a Bronsted-Lowry acid-base theory involved. So what is your Bronsted acid, which is able to donate the proton? So it becomes a proton donor in the reaction, and your Bronsted base, it is actually the species which accept the proton. So it accept it becomes a proton acceptor in the reaction, and when they react together, we call them the proton transfer reactions. The other category of the Lewis acid-base reaction is when you involve a nucleophile or a electrophile in the reaction. So what is a nucleophile? Phile means when it has the affinity. So a nucleophilic species, it is actually what? It is has affinity for a nucleus, affinity for the positive charge. So when we'll have when a molecule will have affinity for the positive charge, when it contains so many electrons, when it has rich electron density, then it will have affinity for the positive charge. It will seek for that. So an electron source or a donor species, electron donor species, it becomes your nucleophile. It becomes your nucleophilic species. And what is electrophile? Electrophile is phile is again means the affinity. So when the species has affinity for the electrons, it is seeking for the electrons. It becomes electrophile. So when will an atom seek for electron? When it is not having electron, right? When it is having a positive charge or electron deficient species, so it will seek for the electron. So these are the electron sink or acceptor species. So when such a nucleophilic or electrophilic species are involved, you call them according to the species involved and type of the reaction. Like you call it nucleophilic substitution reaction, electrophilic addition reaction. So in a nucleophilic substitution reaction, an existing group on the molecule is substituted by a nucleophile. And in the electrophilic addition reaction, the electrophile getting added over electron rich system. So these are the different possibilities when you saw the organic reaction mechanisms in the organic chemistry. Now let us discuss what is the nucleophile. Nucleophile is a reagent which can donate an electron pair in a reaction. So it can donate an electron pair, and therefore it is looking for the nucleus where it can donate these electrons. So when a species is looking for the nucleus or the positive charge where it can donate its electron pair, you call it a nucleophile. The name nucleophile means it is nucleus loving and indicates that it attacks the region of low electron density. So whenever it finds a positive center, which is actually what? Electron deficient center. So it attacks on them in the substrate molecule. Now, nucleophile species, they are generally electron rich, and they may be some negative ions, including the carbanions or a neutral molecule with 3 electron pair. So generally the heteroatom containing a species in which they have a lone pair over them. So nitrogen, oxygen or any halogen, they contain lone pairs on them. So these lone pairs, they can donate into the positive center or electron deficient center. So they become nucleophiles. Generally they are also containing the negative charge. So in that case also they become a nucleophile. So a nucleophile is represented by a general formula that is Nu, which is a nucleophile, and the examples are given here. We have chloro, bromo, iodo, cyano, hydroxyl groups. Then in case of this ammonia is on the nitrogen, it contains lone pair of electrons. So it can donate these electrons. Then amines, water molecule, we have oxygen atom containing 2 lone pair of electrons, which it can donate into the positive center. So it is also a type of nucleophile. Again, in case of the alcohols, again the oxygen atom containing lone pair of electrons becomes a nucleophile. So this was about the nucleophilic species. We can also have electrophilic species, and a reagent which can accept an electron pair in a reaction is called electrophile. So these are the species which are actually accepting the electron pair. So to accept the electron pair, they should be electron deficient, right? Then only they will accept electron. A species which is already having rich electron density, it will never accept the electron. So electrophile is what? It is accepting the electron pair due to the presence of positive charge. The name electrophile, it represents what? It means electron loving species. and it indicates that it attacks the regions of high electron density. So if a species is containing positive charge, it is lacking electron density, so it will search for a molecule, search for a substrate which is containing high electron density. So it will attack over those regions which are rich in the electrons. And generally, you know that in the organic chemistry, whenever we have unsaturation present in a system, in that case, we have a pi electron density involved. So generally, the double bonds, the triple bonds, and the aromatic systems, they are actually having these characteristic electrophilic reactions, electrophilic addition reactions. So, as you know, electrophiles, they are the electron deficient species, and they could be any positive ion. When you have positive ion, they have lost their electrons, so they are looking for the electron pair, and the carbonium ions, in which the carbon atom is containing the positive charge, or they can be the neutral molecules with electron deficient centers. So the neutral molecules, they are behaving like Lewis acid, so they are the electron deficient, and therefore they attack over the places in a substrate molecule where they have rich electron density. So you represent an electrophile by E positive, and the typical examples of electrophiles are H plus, Cl plus, Br plus. When such a species, they are lacking the electrons, and you know that they are having high electronegativity, they will look for the electron density, and they becomes a really strong electrophile because they are actually looking for the electron due to their high electronegativity. Then you have other weak electrophiles as well, R3C plus, NO2 plus, and AlCl3. AlCl3 is electron deficient molecule, and due to its electron deficiency, it becomes electrophile. Then similar is the case of BF3 molecule. It is also electron deficient center on the boron, and therefore it becomes the electrophile in the organic reaction. So this was about the nucleophiles and electrophiles. Now, in the organic reaction mechanism, what we are showing? We are showing the attack of nucleophile or attack of electrophile, and what are the consecutive changes after that attack on a particular substrate, and how these changes, they direct the formation of product, that is through the course of the organic reaction mechanism. So, what is the reaction mechanism? It is step-by-step sequence of the elementary reactions by which overall chemical change occurs. So, you are writing the organic transformation in the step-by-step manner through a sequence, and all these elementary reactions, they are actually representing a chemical change. That is the formation of a product. So, although only the net chemical change is directly observable for most chemical reactions, the experiments can often be designed that suggest possible sequence of steps in a reaction mechanism. So, whenever you are proposing a reaction mechanism, you need to collect all the experimental data regarding the different intermediates form, involvement of a different solvent, effect of solvent and polar intermediates, and the role of the catalyst in that particular chemical reaction. So you design the experiments, you collect the data regarding your proposed mechanism, and when you get enough supports in when you get enough facts in support of your mechanism, then you consider that reaction mechanism to be followed in that particular reaction. So, mechanism, when you talk about the reaction mechanism of organic reactions, you can have n number of possibilities. But if you broadly look to all the general or common organic reactions, they are generally classified into different categories. So the most common or the useful reactions, they have generally a pattern, and on the basis of that pattern, you actually classify the reaction mechanism also. So each reaction has a stepwise reaction mechanism that explains how it happens. Although this detailed description of steps is not always clear from a list of the reactions alone. So, you can see a reaction mentioned here at the bottom of this diagram, And here you can see we have hydroxide ion attacking on your ethyl bromide. This is what CH3 CH2Br, ethyl bromide. So this is attack of OH minus. This is simple nucleophile attacking on the carbon, and this is the formation of a transition state. And after the reaction, what happens? This transition state, the leaving group, that is bromide, leaves the molecule, and you get finally what? A secondary, a primary alcohol is formed as a result of this reaction. So you can say that this reaction involves two steps. First is the formation of the transition state, and then the leaving group leaves the molecule. So the reaction mechanisms, or you can say the organic reactions, they can be of one of the category. The common reaction, they can belong to any of these categories, like substitution reactions followed by addition elimination pathway. So this overview is not intended to include every single organic reaction, because I just like I told you, we can also have a pericyclic reaction in which there is no polar or radical intermediate involved. So we will cover in this lecture only the basic reactions, all the basic reactions present in the organic chemistry, and especially the addition reaction. For the substitution reaction, we will discuss them in the next lecture. So these are the different type of reactions in the organic chemistry. We can have addition reaction, substitution reaction, elimination reaction, then rearrangement reaction, and also we can have organic redox reaction. What is a redox reaction? You know that when oxidation and reduction, this takes place simultaneously, you call it a redox reaction. And this is also possible in case of the organic reactions. So you call them organic redox reaction. So these are the common reactions we study in the organic chemistry. Let us look at their subtypes. So in case of the addition reaction, so what is the addition reaction? You know that there is simple addition of small molecule on a system, and there is no formation of any byproduct. So you are seeing the addition reactions in this way, and if the addition this is taking place of an electrophile, then you call it electrophilic addition. If a nucleophile is getting added, you call it a nucleophilic addition. And if the radical is getting added, you call it a radical addition reaction. So what are the different examples of addition reaction? Like the halogenation reaction, hydrohalogenation reaction, and the hydration reaction. These are simple addition reactions. Then the elimination reaction. So elimination reaction, they are what? They represent the elimination of small molecule from your substrate. This could be water molecule, ammonia molecule, any of the small molecule. If it is getting removed from your substrate, you call it elimination reaction. The example is the dehydration reaction, that is the elimination of your water molecule. So if you remember the formation of anhydrides when you heat the carboxylic acid, so they simply involve the removal of a simple water molecule and leads to the formation of acidic anhydride. So the simple dehydration reaction, it is example of elimination reaction. Then this is followed by another category, that is a substitution reaction, and this is actually a broad category of organic reactions. Generally, the organic reactions are substitution reactions, and we study so many reactions in this category. So what is the substitution? When a particular group, it attacks on a substrate, on a molecule, and replaces another particular group. So you call it what? It is a substitution reaction. Now when the substitution reaction is carried out by a nucleophile, it becomes a nucleophilic substitution. When it is carried out on the aromatic substrate, you call it nucleophilic aromatic substitution. Then the acyl, so you can have nucleophilic acyl substitution. Then if an electrophile is involved, you call it electrophilic substitution. Then electrophilic aromatic substitution, when you have the aromatic system involved. And finally, we can also have radical substitution reaction. So let us see the different examples here. we can have SN1, SN2, and SNI reactions. So SN1, substitution, nucleophilic, unimolecular. Then SN2, substitution, nucleophilic, bimolecular. And this is substitution, nucleophilic, inverted. So these are the different type of substitution reactions. Then you have the category of organic redox reaction. So organic redox reaction, they are like the redox reaction specific to organic compounds. And you can have a rearrangement reaction. So according to the rearrangement inside the molecule, here we have only one substrate involved, and inside that substrate an intramolecular reaction is taking place, where the molecule, the part of the molecule, different atom or group, they are merely changing their position from one part of the molecule to the other part, and this leads to the formation of a product. So this is simply what the molecular atoms, they are rearranging themselves, and you call it a rearrangement reaction. So you can have a 1,2 rearrangement pericyclic reaction, or the metathesis. They are simple rearrangement reaction, or maybe you are aware of so many molecular rearrangement reactions like the Claisen rearrangement, then Bayer's rearrangement. So many such rearrangements are known to us. So these are the different type of organic reaction mechanisms. So here you can see that summary. This is acid-base reaction. So in the acid-base reaction, what is happening? You see this is a molecule CH3, CH2, CH2, SH. This is a thioalcohol. When you attack the molecule by NaOH in the presence of alkali, what is formed here? You see this hydrogen is replaced by the sodium, and you get a sodium salt. So here this thiol is acting like an acid, reacting with a base, so it becomes your acid base type of reaction. Then this is the example of addition reaction. So here on your substrate a double bond is present, and when it is attacked by the HBr, so this HBr is what? It is getting added over the double bond, because it is containing pi electrons, and this is your electrophile. So this gets added over the hydrogen bond like this. Then so this will be your electrophilic addition, right? Then you can have substitution reaction. So here substitution of one group is taking place. So when the cyanide is attacking on the molecule, this bromo group is getting replaced by the cyanide group, and as a result you get what? You get a nitrile group attached to the molecule in place of the bromo group. So this is what? A substitution reaction in which the nitrile is substituting the bromo group. Then you can have elimination reaction. So here you can see the elimination reaction is taking place, in which a small molecule is removed, and this leads to the generation of a double bond. So generally whenever the elimination reactions are taking place in the organic reactions, they leads to the formation of double or triple bond in the molecule. So let us discuss the very first category, that is the addition reaction, which are actually addition of a particular species over a unsaturated system. So whenever there is addition, you can be of sure this is like unsaturation is there, then addition reaction will take place. So the example taken here is the electrophilic addition reaction. Now in the electrophilic addition reaction, what happens? This is an addition reaction where in a chemical compound a pi bond is broken. A pi bond is broken, it means your compound is having unsaturation, right? So it is having a pi bond, and that pi bond is getting broken during the addition reaction. And as a result of this, two new sigma bonds are formed. So this leads to the conversion of your substrate from unsaturated to the saturated molecule. The substrate of an electrophilic addition reaction, this must have a double or triple bond. Okay, then only it will have a pi bond. So only the unsaturated compounds, those containing the double bond or triple bond, they show such type of electrophilic addition reaction. Now, what is the driving force for such reaction? So, The driving force for this reaction is formation of an electrophile X plus that forms a covalent bond with an electron-rich unsaturated carbon double bond carbon. So when your electrophile, that is X plus, it reaches to a molecule which is containing a pi electron system, electron-rich unsaturated double bond. So what happens? This will take up these electrons available, take up the pi electrons. The positive charge on the X is transferred to the carbon double bond carbon, and it forms a carbocation. Now this carbocation does what? It actually adds another group present in the system, and now it becomes electroneutral. So this is a simple reaction mechanism of addition reaction. Here you can see an ethylene molecule is present, CH2 double bond CH2, and when the XY group attacks on it, the electrophilic addition reaction. So first of all, what happens? This product is formed, but you can divide the reaction into two steps. First, the X plus, which is actually an electrophile, it attacks on the pi electron system on the molecule and get attached itself on one of the carbon atoms. So it is taking up the electron present in the double bond, and therefore a positive charge is getting generated on another carbon atom. Now, due to the presence of this carbocation, our molecule will add up the negative ion present in the same system. This XY is what? You have X plus and Y minus involved here. So this X plus is actually involved in the electrophilic attack, and Y minus does what? It satisfies a positive charge on the carbocation and getting attached on another carbon atom number 2. So finally, from the step 1 and step 2, you get addition product after the electrophilic addition reaction. Now these electrophilic addition reaction, like I told you, in the step 1, positively charged intermediate combines with the Y, that is the electron rich, and usually an anion to form the second covalent bond. So step 2 is the same nucleophilic attack process found in the SN1 reaction. The exact nature of the electrophile and the nature of the positively charged intermediate, they are not always clear, and it depends on the reactant and the reaction conditions. So a lot of factors, they are affecting the course of the reaction mechanism, and especially in case of the involvement of electrophiles and nucleophiles, because they are a charged species and they involve the movement of the charge. They are affected by the presence of the solvent, the polarity of the solvent, whether you are using a polar or non-polar solvent. So they are affected by all these factors. So in the electrophilic addition reaction, in all the asymmetric addition reaction to carbon, the regioselectivity is important, and it is often determined by the Markovnikov's rule. So what is the regioselectivity? When you have both the carbon atoms, like in case of the ethylene molecule, you see we have CH2 double bond CH2, and the HBr is getting added over it. So the Br minus Br plus, when it attacks on the carbon atom, to which carbon it will get attached? How will it decide to attack on which of the carbon atom? So that is the regioselectivity part, and this is governed by the Markovnikov's rule. So the organoborane compounds give anti-Markovnikov addition. These compounds do not follow the Markovnikov rule. The electrophilic attack to an aromatic system results in the electrophilic aromatic substitution rather than an addition reaction. When the similar type of attack is taking place, when the electrophile is attacking on a aromatic system, then what happens? In place of the simple addition reaction, now what happens? Now the aromatic substitution reactions are taking place. So the electrophile, when it is attacking on an unsaturated aliphatic system, it leads to electrophilic addition, and when it attacks to the aromatic system, it leads to electrophilic substitution reaction. The former, that is the electrophilic addition on unsaturated aliphatic system, in such cases, the regioselectivity is governed by the Markovnikov's rule. So in these reactions, the typical electrophiles involved whenever the addition is taking place on the alkene molecule. So the typical electrophile involved in such reaction, they could be Dihalo addition reaction, we can have X2, then HX when you have hydrohalonization reaction. You can have hydration reaction in which the H2O molecule is involved, then hydrogenation reaction when H2 is involved, oxymercuration reaction when the mercuric acetate and water are getting involved. When you have diboranes as the electrophile, it becomes hydroboration oxidation reaction. And when you have formaldehyde and water involved in such reaction, this is your Prince reaction. So these are the different categories of electrophilic reactions, especially the electrophilic addition reaction on the aliphatic unsaturated system. And when it becomes an aromatic system, then you get the electrophilic substitution reaction. So in the electrophilic substitution reaction, the example is like chlorination of the benzene ring, bromination of the benzene ring, or iodination of the benzene ring, which you call as the halogenation reaction. Then secondly, you have nitration reaction, sulfonation reaction of the aromatic system. They are all the electrophilic substitution reaction in the aromatic system, where an electrophile is involved. The second type of addition reaction is when you have a nucleophile involved. So we call them the nucleophilic addition reaction. Now, because a nucleophile is involved, and we know that what is a nucleophile? It is seeking for a nucleus. So such type of addition reactions, they are taking place on a system which contains a electron deficient center. So these are the reaction in which you see the addition of a compound of a nucleophile in a system where the pi bond is removed by the creation of new covalent bonds by the addition of nucleophile. And generally such type of reactions, they are shown by the multiple bonded atoms. So the molecules containing carbon heteroatom bonds, generally they show such type of nucleophilic addition reaction. For example, like we have carbonyl compounds, imines and nitriles, in which your carbon is attached to another heteroatom. So let us take the example of like carbonyl compounds. In carbonyl compound, what happens? Your carbon is attached to oxygen atom, right? And due to the difference in the electronegativity of these two atoms, as we know that oxygen is highly electronegative as compared to your carbon. So what happens? It will withdraw the electron pair, the shared electron pair between the carbon and oxygen towards itself. So now what happens? A polarity is generated, and the shared pair of electrons between the carbon and hydrogen, they are shifted towards oxygen. They are more towards the oxygen due to its high electronegativity, and they are away from the carbon atom. So as a result of this, the carbonyl compound, the carbon of the carbonyl compound, it develops a positive charge, a partial positive charge, and therefore it develops a nucleus-like character, and the nucleophilic addition reaction takes place on such electron deficient system. So such type of compounds, they are actually reflecting the nucleophilic addition reaction. In case of the carbonyl compounds like the aldehydes and the ketones, you have seen many nucleophilic addition reactions. They are characterized by them actually. So the molecules with the carbon-carbon double bond or triple bond, they are also showing such a nucleophilic addition reactions. Now going into the detail, an example is given here for the nucleophilic addition reaction. So this is occurring at the carbonyl group center of a ketone by the substitution with hydroxide-based compound, denoted by the short name. And this example, the unstable hemiketalous form. So this is actually acetal formation reaction for the carboxylic compounds, carbonyl compound, and only up to the half of the reaction step is shown here. So this is the ketone containing carbonyl group. This is your carbon and this is your oxygen. Carbon is attached with a heteroatom. Now this heteroatom, that is oxygen, is highly electronegative, and it withdraws the electron of this bond towards the oxygen itself. So now what happens? The carbon, the electrons are taken away from the carbon, and it is developing a partial positive charge. When you react this compound with the alcohol, Now you get what you have OH minus involved here, and this OH minus, that is hydroxide, it is a strong nucleophile. So due to its character that it is seeking for the positive charge, it will attack on this carbon which is partially positive now, and what will happen? It will get attached on this carbon. Now, as a result of this, when it will attach on the carbon, what will happen? The negative charge of the OH, it will be transferred towards the oxygen. And now the remaining R group in the solution, in the solvent part, this R, it gets attached on the oxygen, carbonyl oxygen like this. You get an unstable hemiacetal structure like this. So this is an example of a nucleophilic addition reaction. Okay, this reaction actually proceeds further and it results into the formation of acetal. So in this example, we are only discussing about how the nucleophilic addition reaction takes place. How a nucleophile adds itself over a nuclear center over a center which is electron deficient. Now, the nucleophilic addition to carbon hetero double bonds, like in the previous slide, we have seen the carbonyl compound. Here again, we are taking a carbonyl compound, especially the ketone RCOR, and the addition reaction of a nucleophile to carbon hetero double bond, such as the carbon double bond oxygen or carbon triple bond nitrogen. They show a wide variety. Now these bonds are polar. That means what? The heteroatom is containing large electronegativity. So both the atoms are having a huge difference in the electronegativity, and therefore the carbon actually develops a partial positive charge. So now this makes the atom a primary target for the nucleophile. So whenever a nucleophilic species, which is actually what? It is electron-rich species searching for some positive charge. So it attacks on the carbon atom containing partial positive charge. Now, one point you must notice here: this carbon atom is not always containing the positive charge. Okay, it is always developed when a nucleophile attacks on it. It is not that you say that in the solution or these compounds are always containing this charge separation. Actually, this charge separation between the carbon and hydrogen, it takes place only when a particular nucleophile attacks on it. So, this is a nucleophile attack on the your carbonyl carbon, and it is getting attached on the carbonyl carbon and transferring its negative charge on the oxygen atom, which after in the second step gains one hydrogen or alkyl group from the reaction medium, and now an OH is formed. This is what a simple nucleophilic addition reaction. And different type of compounds, they can be added over the carbonyl carbon, like formation of the acetals, formation of the you say ketal, then formation of your hydrazone, semi-hydrazone, carbazone. They all are the example of your nucleophilic addition reaction on the carbonyl carbon. So this type of reaction is called 1,2 nucleophilic addition reaction. The stereochemistry of this type of nucleophilic attack is not an issue when both the alkyl substituents are dissimilar and there are not any other controlling issues such as the chelation with the Lewis acid. The reaction product is a racemate. So, yeah, like you can see here, the carbon is containing 4 different type of groups on the 4 valency. So, the product that you are getting will be a racemic mixture. So, no optical activity issue arises here. But whenever the chelation with the Lewis acid is involved, in that case you can get one of the mixture in the one of the stereoisomer in your product. So addition reaction of this type, they are numerous. When the addition reaction is accompanied by an elimination reaction, you call it a nucleophilic acid substitution or addition elimination reaction. So it is also possible that once a nucleophile is added over the carbonyl carbon, and then after some time another functional group, another part of the atom, it is removed. So you call it addition elimination reaction. They are also typical of the carbonyl carbons. So with a carbonyl compound as an electrophile, the nucleophile can be water. Like in case of the hydration to the geminal diol, it can be an alcohol in the acetylization reaction which leads to the formation of acetal. It can be a hydride in the reduction reaction which result into formation of the alcohol. An amine could be involved here with the formaldehyde and a carbonyl compound in the Manish reaction. Then it could be an enolate ion in the aldol reaction or Bayer-Hillman reaction. This could be the organometallic nucleophile in the Grignard reaction or related Barbier reaction, or you say Reformatsky reaction. This could be some light such as the Wittig reaction or Fourier-Kawasaki reaction, or you say alpha-silyl carbanions in the Peterson olefination. Then the nucleophile could be a phosphate carbanion in the Horner-Wadsworth-Emmons reaction. It could be a pyridine-zwitter ion in case of the hemic reaction, and it could be the acetylide in case of the Fevrosky reaction. So these are different variety of nucleophiles. They could attack on the carbonyl carbon and form different type of product after the reaction. And we can also have nitriles involved here. With the nitriles, you see the carbon is having triple bond with the nitrogen, and nitrogen will withdraw the electron towards itself. So this carbon will again become susceptible to a nucleophilic attack, and the nucleophilic addition takes place by the hydrolysis of the nitrile to an amide or by a carboxylic acid. Then we can have organozinc nucleophiles in the Blaze reaction. We can have alcohols like in case of the Pinner reaction, and the same nitrile alpha carbon in the Thorpe reaction. The intramolecular version is called Thorpe-Ziegler reaction. So again, these are the examples of nucleophilic addition reaction when your carbon is containing multiple bonds with the heteroatom and behaving like a center susceptible for the nucleophilic addition reaction. You can also see such type of reaction in case of the imines and other type of compound. So with the imines involved, these electrophiles, they actually show the nucleophilic addition reaction by the hydrides to the amines in case of Escheveller-Clark reaction, then water to carbonyls in the Neff reaction with miscellaneous electrophiles. These reaction could take place like addition of an alcohol to the isocyanate to form a carbamate, and we can also see these reaction in like the nucleophile attack the carbonyl center from a specific angle called the Burzy-Dunitz angle. So these are the examples. Now the nucleophilic addition reaction can also take place on the carbon-carbon double bond itself. So the driving force for such reaction is when the nucleophile attacks here, the covalent bond is formed with the electron-poor unsaturated system in the step 1, and in the step 2, negative charge on the X is transferred to the carbon bond. So you get a carbanion formed here, and this carbanion will actually attaches itself some positive ion present in your reaction medium, so that covalent bond, second covalent bond is formed here. So in the two steps, you see nucleophilic addition reaction takes place on the carbon-carbon double bond. Now the ordinary alkenes, they are not susceptible to the nucleophilic attack because they are apolar in nature. But when they contain some compounds, like in case of the styrene, it reacts the toluene with sodium to form 1,3-diphenyl propane through the intermediate carbanion. So under the special condition when your unsaturated system is containing some special groups, so what in that case you can see the nucleophilic addition to carbon-carbon double bond system. Now from the today's lecture I have these two questions for you. In the first question you have to identify which is the most reactive for SN1 reaction. You have to find out the ease of reactivity of all these compounds for SN1 reaction. So what is SN1 reaction? Nucleophilic substitution reaction. So the nucleophilic substitution, it will take place on this carbon atom, and you have to find out which of these four will be more susceptible, more sensitive for the SN1 type of reaction. Now in the second question, you have to find out which is the most reactive again for the SN1 reaction. So you have a different type of compounds mentioned here, and you have to find out their relative susceptibility for such type of reactions. So in the next lecture, we will discuss about the different substitution reactions, and these are the references from today's lecture. That is all from my side for today, and thank you so much.